Okay. Can you hear us okay, Erica? Oh,
Yeah. Good morning. I can. How are you?
okay, good. I'm going to turn the volume up some so we can try to get everything ready.
Okay.
Can y'all hear her okay?
Y'all hear y'all good.
All right, can you say something else? I'm going to see if
Good morning. My name is Erica Aguirre, and I'm with the Texas County and District Retirement System.
let's see. And I'm wondering, I'm going to try to figure out how to make you the presenter
Okay.
so that, because you need to share your screen, right?
Yes. And when I push the share screen button, it says ask host to enable it. So perhaps even if there's just a way to enable it, it might allow me to share my screen.
Okay, can you try to share your screen now?
Absolutely. So it said host disabled attendee screen sharing is the message that I received.
Okay, I think what I'm going to have to do is make you the host.
Okay.
And then when you're done with your presentation, if you can make me the host again. So
Okay.
do you see at the bottom where you've got your participants and you can make them go over on the right-hand side?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you right-click on Rick Lewis,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to right-click on you, or no, actually, sorry, not right-click, just go to the More. If you hover over it, you'll see the More tab.
More, let's see. Host. Privately file, type message, invite, raise hand, chat. Let me see. For some reason, I'm not seeing a more. Invite, mute me, raise hand, chat, privately type a message, file.
I might need to make you the host. I'm going to make you the host real quick because we've still
Go
got
ahead.
2 minutes. I'm going to make you the host and then
Okay.
hopefully we'll see it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not coming out of TV at all.
Okay, I'm not. Okay.
You are now the host. Okay. So
Okay.
now I can share the screen. Oh, I sure can. Okay. And I'll share the desktop. And I'll share that. And then now I can open up my presentation just to show you to see what that looks like. Okay, is that something that you can see on my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
But if I could get my audio to work better.
Yeah, it's not coming through the TV at all.
And it was going through the TV earlier.
Test, test, 1, 2, test.
It just came out. Oops.
There's the speaker on the laptop with this mic.
Yeah. But that's weird because it should be this. Can you talk again, Erica?
Yes, ma'am. Test, 1, 2.
We're just coming out of here.
Test, 1, 2. If I speak louder, does that help?
We got it figured out now.
Okay. Okay. Would you like me to stop sharing the screen so you can use it for other purposes, and then when you want me to use it, you reshare it?
Yes, I
Okay.
will. If you can put me back as the host.
Okay. And I'm going to go
Up to this.
share screen, chat, stop video, security, more. No, let's see, participants.
When you're on the participants, you'll have the participant screen over on the right.
Yes, ma'am.
And you should see Rick Lewis.
Okay.
And if you just hover over him, it
More.
says more.
Oh, here we go. And then I say make host. Okay.
Yes.
There you go. Change host. All righty. It's coming back to you, ma'am.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Now I'm back to the host. Okay, I think that we're good. So I'm going to mute you, Erica, until we get to your spot, and then I will unmute you and I'll
Absolutely. And no rush at all. I'm here. No rush. So I'll be here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
I think we're
Ready to
good.
go?
Mm-hmm.
We'll get started because it is 9 o'clock, Monday, June the 27th, June the 22nd, And I'd like to welcome everyone to a regular meeting of Montague County Commissioners Court. If you'd all stand for our invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Father, we thank you so much for this opportunity that you've given us to be here today. Father, we thank you for the rain that you sent to our lands. Just praise you and thank you for all the blessings of life. Father, we pray that you give us wisdom, give us discernment for all the decisions that we make here today. Father, we follow you and it is all done in your will. Father, we thank you for your grace. We thank you for your mercy. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. You can be seated. 3 on the agenda is public comments. I have one participation form. Mr. Hartford Booth, Mr. Booth here. Let me check and make sure he's not in the office right here. Mr. Booth? You like to come around and do it? Okay. So you're good? Okay. All right. Thank you. Mr. Booth has withdrawn his participation form. So we will move on. Does anyone else have anything to say about the participation? We'll move on to item number 4, consent agenda. Is there anything on the consent agenda anybody like to take off for discussion?
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Have a motion from Commissioner Murphy, a second from Commissioner Langford to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? All in favor, right hand. All voted for. Thank you. Item number 5 is a COVID-19 operational updates. Actually, we've got a little bit to talk about this morning with that. There are a lot of tests being done around the state and in our county as well. We are up to 309 cases that have been tested in Montague County. Now, the update as of this morning at 8 o'clock shows 12 cases. We only have 9 confirmed cases. I talked to Dr. McKeck this morning, and since Saturday, he's added 1 more to that. So we have 4 presumptive cases. The definitions of this is getting a little bit skewed and really hard to understand. There are 4 cases now that they're calling presumptive, but we haven't gotten any confirmation on anything. We don't have any idea who they are, where they are, just that the Department of Health has told us that we have 4 cases that they expect to be positive when the results come back, but we don't have that as a confirmation. I know there's a lot of social media speculation out there for the last week, actually, wanting to know who and where and so forth, which we don't ever have that information to begin with. People can say what they want to about their own, but we can't share any information if we were to know it about those people. So we do have 4 presumptive cases. We've had 9 confirmed cases in our county. 8 of those have recovered, and we've had 1 fatality. So again, we've had 309 tests that have been given to residents in our county that have been logged to our county. So if anybody has a question about that, I know that's a lot of information that's hard to understand, and I will do my best to explain it if I can. If anybody has a question about any of it. And if not, then we will move on to item number 6. And that is discuss and consider TCDRS presentation with Erica. Erica, I'm going to butcher your last name, and I apologize. And I'll let you introduce yourself once Jessica has you online.
Okay.
I'm going to send it back to you, Erica.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so now it'll let me share my screen. Wonderful.
There you are.
Okay. There we are. Well, good morning to you. And Thank you so much for allowing me to join you this morning via the Zoom platform. I feel very honored to be able to attend, even though it is in this circumstance. I'm very proud of working with Montague County. I've been a representative for TCDRS for 8 years now, and this has always been my county. And I have a very close relationship with Jennifer as we work together on the plan and advance the learning and understanding and all of the prior contacts to Jennifer. I was fortunate to work with you all. So to be a part of your Commissioner's Court this morning is something that I'm very honored to do. And so thank you for your invitation. I won't take up much of your time, but I do want to give you very pertinent information about the strength of the Montague County Retirement Plan with TCDRS. You all fall under a very unique position that is one that we speak of when we talk about proactive and healthy decision making over time. And it is my goal this morning to explain why we use counties like Montague and Tarrant as excellent examples. This morning I have on the screen a brief presentation, and I'd like to just highlight a few areas that TCDRS is very large and we are growing every month. For the last 53 years, we have been a very strong, well-funded retirement system that the Texas legislature created for us to operate under. However, we are independent and we provide our own funds. We are not tied to the state budget in any way. We were only created by the legislature. We govern ourselves as an entity. And we have over 800 employers now, nearly at December of last year, but now we've exceeded 800, and we grow by districts because we have all the counties. We just grow by districts each year. I will say that there is one county that I'm hoping will join one day, and that's Motley. They're the only county in Texas that has not been able to join, but they are aiming to do so, and we're excited for that. And we have about $34 billion in assets when we pull our assets together as counties and districts, and that is for investment purposes. However, every county and district has their own trust with TCDRS, and you're only responsible for your own retirement. There is no cost sharing. So Montague does not pay for anybody else's district or county retirement, only Montague's, and that's something very important. As I mentioned, the legislature created us in '67, and they must have done a very good job because 53 years later, we're very strong, very well funded. We operate on our own, and our average costs as a system are only 0.23% of all of our assets. If you look at other 401k plans and you compare us to other retirement plans, that's usually 1.5% of their assets. So we are, our operating costs are very low. We're managed by an independent 9-member board of trustees that are decided by the governor and elected by the Senate, appointed by the governor. Now, today I'd like to just briefly highlight why Montague County has fallen so well with the planning and the structure of TCD, and that's because you all are operating under the 3 characteristics that make TCDRS so unique as a pension system. First of all, we are savings-based. So all of your members are saving for their retirement every month. They're putting it into their own accounts via the payroll, the process that we have. Money is being deposited into their accounts. Simultaneously, Montague County is saving for their match over their career. So the saving is happening throughout the entire career for every individual. The responsible plan funding is that you are paying a required rate of pay every month without fail, and you are responsibly funding that match. Well, Montague County is paying an elected rate. You're paying more than what's required because you've created a cushion that has helped you in adverse years, and that will help you in years like this one, 2020, that we might experience. And so the responsible funding is you're not only paying what's minimal, you're paying what's over, and that's something that Tarrant County and other counties have done over time and really positioned themselves well, and that speaks volumes about what Montague has done over time. The local control is in your hands, and so the decision makers, the court that I speak to today, has the ability to adjust benefits and to determine what percent of pay they want to pay that's anything over or at least the minimum that's due. And so we'll talk about what those benefits look like. I'd like to briefly mention that TCDRS is a combination of a defined benefit plan and a defined contribution plan. We are actually a hybrid. We take the defined benefit plan components that work well and the defined contribution plan benefits that are effective, and together that's what TCD is. So our benefit is based on the employee account balance and the match at the end of their career. It is a lifetime benefit. It is a pension. And the risk is shared. How is it shared? Well, members don't get to elect what they put into their accounts. They also don't get to elect their own benefit levels. Members have to go with whatever the court decides. That's the risk they share. The counties the risk they share are that if we don't do as well as we'd like to in the market, then the cost is then put on the county to help absorb that. And the risk that TCDRS shares, it's our responsibility to manage that plan as meticulously as possible so your rates don't increase, so that you become 100% funded and your rate stays stable. So all of us, TCDRS, the county, and the member, all share the risk. We are all working on this plan together. And between every aspect, we are all responsible for the success, the strength, and the stability of this plan. 7% is what members put into their accounts. Every time they get paid, they put 7%. In our system by the legislature, the range is 4 to 7. So Montague is depositing the highest. Most counties and districts do. That is system-wide average. Most people have their employees deposit the most they can save for their retirement. So Montague is part of the system-wide average of 7%. Your match is 250%. That's $2.50 to every dollar that a member has at the end of their career. Now, this is also a wonderful benefit because you are responsibly funding this over time. You are guaranteeing that the money will be there for every one of your members because each month you are paying us what is required. In fact, in your case, more, so that when the person comes to retire and they have reached eligibility, we look at what their cash balance is and it's matched then at 250%. I mentioned that we are not funded by the state of Texas. We fund ourselves, and we are funded by our investment income that we earn in our portfolio. I'll mention that in a moment. We are funded by the counties and by the members. And if you were to look at a benefit dollar that's paid in retirement, 77 cents of every benefit dollar paid out comes from our investment earnings. 13 cents comes from the actual employers, the counties and the districts. And 10% from members' own investments, from their own deposits that they make into their account. We effectively and very stringently monitor our investment portfolio. Our investments drive our success since we do not depend on the state of Texas to fund our plan. So we have a diverse portfolio that will balance itself in good years and in adverse years. Even now, with the difficulty the market has seen in 2020 with the COVID-19 virus, we are still doing phenomenally well in certain asset classes. Others are having more of the flat experience because of the market performance. But the diversity across and within our portfolio is what makes us very stable. In fact, with the Great Recession of '08, we recovered very quickly because the strong asset classes were able to make up for the losses that we experienced. As detrimental as those losses were, we had our recovery year and we recovered very quickly 2 years after. Our portfolio is managed by an internal team and an external set of managers that are managed by our board of directors. Every quarter, their performance is evaluated, and we will hire new managers if we need to, or we will stay with their performance every quarter based on our decision with our board of trustees. If you are ever interested in the very specific detail of our investment performance, that is public information that we provide on our website. You can click on any asset class and it will tell you the managers, their performance, how long they've been with us, and the history of that asset class and what it's done for TCDRS over time. Our goal as a system is an 8% return over time. And we've been able to exceed that in our benchmarks that I'm sharing with you on the screen. We've either met or exceeded our benchmarks, not just in a given year, but over time. And 8% is what we choose and aim to hit. And in the last 35 years, our average has been 9.2. So our portfolio is performing the way it should. Do we have bad years? Yes, we do. And do we have great years? Yes, we do. We are not concerned with chasing individual years, but rather the long haul, because we have the time of a person's career and we have the time of their retirement on our side, so we have the length and the longevity for the portfolio to stay strong. We are not concerned with just the performance of an individual year, but rather over time. Speaking of, I'd like for you to see what that performance looks like. This is exactly what the portfolio has done. And I didn't want the graph to be too small, so I started with the year 2000. So you'd see over the last 20 years. You'll notice that the 8% is that black line. That is our goal over time. The portfolio has performed as expected because we have a risk tolerance that is designed to be part of our return expectation. The risk tolerance is the gray band you see above and below the black goal of 8%. That risk tolerance is exactly where the portfolio has performed. If we fall above or below within that gray band, then the portfolio is performing the way the managers intend it to. You'll notice the recession of 08 and the subsequent recovery of 09 take us outside of that bandwidth, but again, recovering very short afterly. And last year, 2019, we had a very positive year at 16.6%. And we were able to pass off gains to our employers. In a moment, I'll show you how your plan benefited from those gains. Right now, the last time I checked on the status of our portfolio, we are at -5, but we also have the benefit of Q3 and Q4 to see if we have any bounce back and recovery within 2020. By paying what you are required to pay, you are responsibly funding all of your current employees' future benefits. And this very unique characteristic that I shared moments ago is what keeps TCDRS very unique and very different from pension systems across the state and within the United States. And the benefit with Montague is that you all are paying above what is simply due as the required. You all are paying what is called an elected rate. So for example, for next year, your rate of pay that is required to responsibly fund the plan is 10.33. And Montague currently is paying 14.24. That's what you've been paying over time. And that has been able to create a cushion in your plan so that when we have tough years, perhaps this may be a tough year, 2020, we'll know it at December 31st when our market returns come in, your cushion will help offset that loss. For example, this is what I'm talking about. Your rate continues to decrease. So last year, your required rate was 10.80. But you'll notice 3 little negative signs on the screen. For investment returns, it shows -0.03. That actually means a positive. For elected rate, -0.34. Again, that means a positive experience. And demographics, -0.10. All 3 positive experiences that benefited to Montague County, which lowered your rate from 10.80 to 10.33. And that is what the plan is supposed to do over time. Your rate is supposed to decrease little by little. Sometimes it will increase when we have tough years and we experience some plan change within your plan. That's normal. That's how the plan's supposed to perform. But the long term, it should decrease over time, and that's exactly what your plan is doing. Because we had gains to pass off to you, you'll see the investment return gain that on the screen. Because you pay an elected rate, you benefited from that. And demographic and other changes are a sum of plan experience by your members. For example, somebody might have left Montague County and withdrew their own deposits and interest. And by doing so, they forfeit the matching dollars because they can never pull out the match. That only gets paid to them as a lifetime retirement. So if a person leaves the county and pulls out their own deposits and interest, Montague County itself keeps their matching dollars because they don't get it in a lump sum payment. And that's a positive experience for Montague County because those are extra funds you get to keep over time that the member chose not to use. The member chose to forfeit them when they withdrew their own money. Your funded ratio is extraordinarily high at 95.6, which is wonderful. The goal is to be 100% funded. So if you were to close your doors tomorrow, then Montague County would pay 100% of everybody's retirement for life. So to be 95.6 is exceptional, and that's the goal. That's what counties and districts aim to do, increase that funded ratio and lower those liabilities and increase their assets, and you're doing that very, very well. I will say that outside rating agencies, like Fitch and S&P, they rate healthy systems at 80% funded and higher. And to be 95 speaks volumes of how well funded the Montague County plan is. My last two slides are general that I have been asked by our leadership to always share with decision makers. And that is a question we get very frequently is who should participate in this plan? And the answer is any permanent employee. Even if they only work 2 hours a week, but they work 2 hours every week and they're permanent, they don't have an end date to their employment with Montague, they should participate. Those that do not participate in TCDRS are seasonal employees or temporary. So if you have an 8-month or a 12-month temporary position with an end date, they do not participate. We also do not have probationary periods. So when someone is hired, they begin contributing to TCDRS immediately. And finally, the next question we get very frequently, I would say almost on a daily basis, is rehiring former employees and how that works. TCDRS has to follow very strict rules with the IRS when it comes to hiring former employees because we are a tax-deferred qualified plan. Employees are not paying taxes on this money while they're working and while they're contributing to the plan. Taxes are paid in retirement. So because we have a tax-deferred status, we have to make sure that everybody respects those tax-deferred rules for the IRS accordingly. So when somebody terminates or when they retire, that must be a bona fide termination, a true retirement. They must intend to move on with their life. Once one full calendar month passes, if they change their mind, if the grass wasn't as green on the other side and they choose to come back to work for Montague, whether they, for whatever reason, one full calendar month passes, they can reapply like everybody else and be offered a job like everybody else. They can't be given special treatment or have any position held because that wouldn't have made it bona fide, but they can be given that chance to reapply. And as long as we follow those rules, then the IRS has allowed us to allow people to return to their same county if they so choose after 1 month calendar break and after a bona fide termination. This is the calendar that we have for your plan and it never changes. We take a snapshot every December 31st and we study your plan so we can determine what % of payroll will responsibly fund those benefits that you're offering. Then we study it from January through April, and in April we release your rates. That's when we tell this court that your rate has dropped from 10.80 to 10.33. In July, we typically have an annual conference, but with the circumstance at hand, we don't have it this year. We hope to bounce back next year and have a stellar conference to offer you all. And in October to December is usually when budgets are finalized, actually from September to December. And we do a lot of travel. We answer a lot of questions. We remind people that plan changes are due. And December 31st of every year is, December 15th of every year is when plan changes need to come to my attention so I can draft an agreement for you, Judge, to sign if you so choose to make any plan changes to your plan. And that is the presentation in summary. Before I close and open it for questions, I just want to pull up the plan assessment and allow you to see the document that we provide every April for this court to review and decide if you'd like to leave things as they are or if you'd like to make any changes. And so I have 2 more things to mention. The first is the cover letter. We've never provided a cover letter like this before, but we did in light of COVID-19. We do know that this year may be tough when it comes to investments. We don't anticipate it to be terrible, but we do anticipate it to probably not be as strong or as of a gain that we would like. So we are recommending that benefit increases are not made this year. COLAs and other benefits that cost the county, we're asking that you wait until next year to make benefit increases so that you don't have an expense on top of an expense if 2020 doesn't produce a gain for this county. Speaking of your plan, this is what it looks like. You'll notice that Montague County joined us in 1968, so thank you for being with us for so long. We're honored that we've been around to offer a very strong retirement as long as we have been. And you'll notice that this first page just shows all of your benefit levels. 7 to 50, your rules of eligibility are 5, 75, and 30. And then you'll see the costs. Required 10.33, but you all pay 14.24. That cushion again has been very advantageous. And you'll see your assets to liabilities. We take that difference and we give you your funded ratio, which is 95.6. And in closing, I'd like to say that we are required to use the word liability. But I want to clarify that the word liability means something different with pensions. Liabilities are benefits that are due one day. They're not all due right now, which is why you don't have to pay us everything right now. Not all of your members are even eligible to retire. Even if they wanted for you to pay them, you couldn't because they're not eligible. So liabilities in our terminology are not a negative thing. They're just benefits that are one day due, and your assets are what you're building, and you responsibly will pay those liabilities when they become eligible because you've responsibly been saving for their retirement over their career, not only their deposits on their own, but the match. And so that's something I'd like to point out as well. The plan assessment just continues to show the replacement ratio. You have an excellent replacement ratio. If somebody works for Montague County for 30 years, you are replacing 97% of their income in retirement as if they were continuing to work. So that speaks volumes. And then finally, I'd like to show you this page, the reasons for rate change. You'll see how your rate has gone down over time, 13.57 to 12.89, 11.95. You see, that's the way it's supposed to go. It's supposed to continue to get lower and lower and lower, and it will do so with your strategic funding and with our management of the plan. Now, will you see it increase? Sure, it might go up a little bit by 2 basis points. By plan experience, by our investment returns, that's normal. But in the grand scheme over time, it is supposed to continue to drop down, your funded ratio increase, and that's exactly what's happening for Montague County. So at this time, I'd like to open the floor for any questions about anything actually, and allow you to focus on any area that you'd like for me to expand on.
Anybody have a question for Erica?
Yes, sir.
I was just asking if anyone had a question. This is
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said I have a question. Yes, sir. Okay,
all
sure.
right, that's all right. Listen, thank you so much for the explanation of this. We've been working really, really hard for the last 5 to 6 years to reduce that liability and to bring that rate down. And it's working, as you mentioned. And I know that the court appreciates you being here and explaining this to us and for the public to understand this system as well, because they're the ones that keep us in office and to keep the cost of the county at a rate where we can keep employees here and the benefits that go along with that to make good employees. So
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for being here to explain it. For the plan itself, it's a complicated system, but you've made it easy to understand. We appreciate that.
Thank you so much. You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. And I can be reached by phone or email anytime. Jennifer is phenomenal about reaching out to me when she ever has questions. So if you need anything, it is my responsibility to answer your questions in a timely manner and provide you with resources that this court needs. So please ask Jennifer or come to TCD. We will make sure we get you whatever you need if in the future the court has additional questions or anything for your plan.
Okay, thank you.
Debbie did have a question here. I don't know, Erica, can you see the chat session?
You know what? I sure can. If I minimize my screen, I should be able to see it right here. Let me go back to Zoom. Let's see here. More, and there's chats. Yes, ma'am. Okay. What about a permanent temporary employee? Are they eligible? So may I ask a question about the permanent temporary situation? So when you say permanent, is it because they temporarily help you from time to time over a span of time?
She's part-time. She's a part-time administrative assistant.
Okay, and but she has been there. So for example, as a part-time administrative assistant, is there no end date to her service? You anticipate her being there for, for an unexpected amount of time until she chooses to not be there anymore?
Yes.
Okay, so in that example, she would be someone who would participate in our system. And if she hasn't already, no problem. She could just start participating. But because there's no end date in her file, it doesn't say that she'll stop working January 1 of 2021, then she should participate. So even if she's only part-time, the permanence is that there is no end date. And by statute, those members are allowed to participate and save for retirement in our system. So I'm certainly happy to help Jennifer with organizing that. And it's an easy way for us to address it future forward, but that would be an example of someone who would participate. Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else from the chat? I can't really see the screen. It's,
So far, she's the only one.
okay. Okay, Erica, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Let me release the sharing of the screen so you can return. And
Okay.
I thank you very much. Have a wonderful week.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Back up.
Yeah, we're back to us.
Okay. And with that, we will move on to item number 7 on the agenda. Discuss, consider approving renewal bond for Brenda Dozier, Tax Assessor Deputy Angela Haley, Tax Assessor Secretary Lisa Vaccaro, Tax Assessor Chief Deputy, and Glenda Henson, County Clerk. These are our renewals.
Motion to approve the renewal bonds, Judge.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Murphy, second, Commissioner Lakers, to approve the renewals for Brenda Dozier, Angela Haley, Lisa Vaccaro, and County Clerk Glenda Henson. All in favor, right hand. All voted for. Thank you. Item number 8, discuss and consider approving the Law Enforcement Support Office application packet from the Montague County Sheriff's Office to take necessary action. Sheriff?
This is the application we do every year. It's what we use to get the Humvee and other equipment from the lease-up program, which is administered by the DPS, but we have to sign it every year. There's no changes.
Okay.
So who needs the authority to sign it, Marshall?
It could be both of us.
Make a motion that we approve the LESO application and allow the sheriff and the judge to sign that.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Murphy, second, Commissioner Laker, to approve the Law Enforcement Support Office application for the Montague County Sheriff's Office. Any questions? Any comments? All in favor, right hand. All voted for. Thank you. Item number 9, discuss and consider request to approve and authorize Sheriff Thomas to sign a memorandum of understanding with Patsy's House and take necessary action. That's also in the packet. I don't know that if the county attorney has looked at that. I sent it over to his office because I didn't have any notice whether you had or not, but I haven't talked to him.
I noticed the district attorney had already signed it, so I.
Okay.
I guess if he signed it, we can prove it then. Again.
I was hoping he'd be here this morning. There's nothing wrong with I just wanted to make sure the wording of the arrangement was good. And he signed off on it. But,
Clay hadn't signed off on it. Won't we wait, or I'll make a motion contingent with.
Yes, sir. He has.
he did, okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
He just sent an email in that he has looked at it and approved it, so it's good. Thank you.
All right. I'll make the motion to approve and authorize Sheriff Thomas to sign the memorandum of understanding with Patsy's House.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Langford, second, Commissioner Mayfield, to approve the memorandum of understanding with Patsy's House and Sheriff Thomas. All in favor, right hand. All voted for. Thank you. Item number 10, discuss, consider naming a private road, Greenwood Lane, for 911 purposes. The private road will be changed to Lazy Dog Lane. Take necessary action.
This is a family who's built 3 homes up in this one tract of land, and they built their own road in there. It's a private road. But for 911 purposes, they need it named. They're going to get mail delivery on it also. They want the name to be Lazy Dog Lane. I'll make a motion that we approve the name of this private road that will not be maintained by the county. Lazy Dog Lane.
Okay, that has been passed for 911 purposes, though.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Darden, and a second, Commissioner Mayfield, to, for 911 purposes, approve the naming of the private road to Lazy Dog Lane. Any discussion? Any questions?
I have a question, Judge. Tim has asked me to do this a couple of times, and I haven't because it's a private road. And he chose an alternate route, I guess, but that place is no liability on us at all.
It shouldn't be if it's a private road, and we're marking it as a private road.
But we don't have to mark it as well. As far as signage and stuff, we don't have to do
I
that.
don't think so.
All right. We'll do it.
They're actually the ones responsible for the sign.
The one that I did before, out here on 455, the state put a sign on it. I don't know.
But it entered off of State Road?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All in favor, right hand. All voted for. Thank you. Item number 11, discuss, consider, open, and accept sealed bids for base rock number 1 and 2 and oversized rock. Take necessary action. I've got 6 envelopes here. Commissioner, if I could get you to help me open these up.
This look good.
Well, I give it to you.
Big that.
Okay. We will start with P&K Stone in Chico. That is number 1 and 2 flex base, $7 a ton. Reject base, $4.75 a ton. 3x5, $12. 4x8, $12. And 8-inch by 12-inch, $17. 12-inch by 18-inch, $18 per ton. All those are per ton. Cook County crushed stone.
Judge, can I interrupt you just a second?
Yes, sir.
PK Stone, they called me Friday evening. They don't have a sound number. But I told him to go ahead and send his bid in and see if we could get him approved upon getting this.
Yeah.
number. So, just want to throw that in there.
Okay.
It doesn't cost anything. They just have to submit the paperwork to
Right.
this.
Pilot.
Yep.
He's waiting on to come back.
Okay. Cook County crushed stone. I think there are 2 envelopes here. They're both the same name.
One of them's North Texas, one of them's Cook County. They're the same people.
Okay, North Texas crushed stone. All right. Both of them are identical bids. Base rock number 1 is $6.50 a ton, and oversized rock is $8 a ton. Johnny's Dozer Service, base rock $7 a ton. Number 1, base rock $7 a ton. Number 2, $6.75 a ton. Oversized rock $9 a ton, and pit run rock $7 a ton. Burnco out of Irving. Base rock number 1 is $6.75 a ton, and there's no bid for number 2 base rock or oversized rock.
Do they have a pit somewhere other than Irving?
It doesn't say.
What's the name of it again, Judge? Burnco?
Burnco. Gives an address on Airport Freeport Parkway in Irving. And they have Sam's number as well.
But that's not delivered.
It's not every.
No. Martin Marietta Materials. Base rock number 1, $7.75 a ton. Number 2, $7.75 a ton. And oversized rock, $14 a ton. J.R. Thompson. Base rock number 1, $7.75 a ton. Number 2, $7.50 a ton. Oversized rock, 2 by 4 inch, $9.50 a ton. 4 by 8 inch, $9.50 a ton. And 3 inch crusher run, $7.50 a ton. And number 4 screenings, $6.50. There's a second sheet from the Mitchell Quarry from J.R. Thompson.
That's the one, the new one in Drew County.
And 1.5 inch crusher run is $7.50 a ton. And 2 by 4 inch oversized, $9.50 a ton. And 3 inch crusher run, $7.50 a ton. And that's all it is.
I make motion, Judge, we accept all the bids at our convenience.
Okay, that'd be due to availability and
Yes.
location as well. Okay, have a motion from Commissioner Langford to accept all the bids. Second. Commissioner Darden, a second. Any questions, any comments about the bids? All in favor, right hand. All voted for. Thank you. Item number 12 is to discuss and consider accepting the fiscal year 2021 proposed budget. I would like to ask the court if we move that down to after the budget workshop. And once we have the budget workshop, then we can readdress agenda item number 12. That'd be acceptable to everybody?
You bet.
Okay. Item number 13. Discuss, consider approving the fiscal year 2021 budget for Montague County Tax Appraisal District and take necessary action. I believe Ken Harrelson is here this morning. Ken, would you like to come up and visit with us about this? I asked you to come. I know that there were some increases in the budget. I wanted to give the court an opportunity to ask questions if they had one after your explanation. So thank you very much for coming.
Okay, the appraisal district budget funds 5 employees, and we manage approximately with our overlaps into other counties, 107,000 parcels. The increase that we have, the first increase would be our mapping services. We've done some converting and we're changing that up. So our contract has gone up $3,500. On insurance, I'm increasing cybersecurity, so that's gone up $150. And the next large increase is $10,000 for postage. Senate Bill 2 is going to require us to send out in 2021 a postcard it's going to be by owner to all taxpayers that will refer them to a website so we can have transparency to the taxpayers. That will be 34,000 notices, and that's the postage. And then underneath appraisal notices, it's going to be $6,000 increase for just the little postcard. And we're doing it's actually cheaper if I do a colored postcard with black ink. So we're going to go with whatever is the cheapest to get those out to the taxpayers. On the second page, the website that we're going to refer the people to on that postcard, that's going to be an increase of $1,000. My software vendor is going to help me get that set up. And if you look on the third page, the increase, the county funds a little over 30% of our budget. The increase to the county, the estimate is $6,137 annually. We still give back 90% of our interest, miscellaneous revenue. We still give that back against our budget.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
Anybody have any questions? I knew that those increases were coming just from the legislature side of it, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to explain that to the court,
Right,
because I wouldn't be able to do it right.
right, yes.
Well, I appreciate you coming over again, because I knew when I was looking at it, the postage, I didn't, I don't realize what y'all have to, send out or anything like that, but at least when you come over, it explains what the expense is, so thank you very much.
You're welcome. If you have any questions, just let me know.
Appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Anybody have anything with it? That's an action item to approve that budget.
I'll make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2021 budget for the Montague County Tax Appraisal District.
Have a motion from Commissioner Langford, second Commissioner Mayfield, to approve the fiscal year 2021 budget for the Montague County Tax Appraisal District. Any more questions or comments? All in favor, right hand. All voted for. Thank you. Item number 14 is executive session in compliance with Texas Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551 of the Government Code, Vernon's Texas Codes annotated. Number 1, deliberation regarding personnel matters. And following that closed executive session, Commissioners Court will reconvene in open and public session and take any such action as may be desirable or necessary as a result of the closed deliberation. So a motion to go to executive session.
Motion.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Langford, second Commissioner Murphy for executive session. All in favor, right hand. All voted for. We will begin at 9:47. We will convene to the community room. I've got chairs set up in there.
We can ask a couple to come in with us, can't we, Judge?
We can.
Or
Yeah.
like JP, Kevin Benton, and Jack Pig, if they would, that wouldn't be any problem.
Okay. That'd be fine. And we will reconvene. I will let everybody know when we reconvene. Thank you.
I'm gonna mute us until y'all come back in, just so
Okay.
there's no
All right, thank you.
Precinct 2 will be fine. I was fixing to ask if you could hear me, but then I was like, I think I just saw her back there. So I'm not gonna ask you, can you hear me?
Okay. Motion to come back into regular session.
Motion to come back in regular session.
Have a motion from Commissioner Murphy, second Commissioner Mayfield to come back into regular session. All in favor, right hand. All voted for, and we were back in session at 10:04. It's been a hard month. We've got some action to take coming out of executive session. The first piece of business is I would announce today my retirement as Montague County Judge. I've got a letter that I prepared to the court. It's with a sad heart that I do this, but there's some personal issues going on with me that I know it's in my best interest, and I am convinced that it is the appropriate thing to do for the county. It's again a hard thing. It's been the honor of my life. If the citizens of this county would entrust in me the responsibility and the accountability to do this job. I've got, it's been extremely humbling that the citizens of this county would allow that to happen. I want to thank this court. We've done a lot of good things, Mia. It's been nearly 6 years that I've been here. We've done a lot of really good things for this county. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of all of us as a court, the progress that we've made. I think we brought the court and this county along to some good places. A lot of people thank Linda Henson, our county clerk. Could have you've got to be through areas coming into this new with your experience that I really appreciate. Clay, same thing. Clay Riddle, our county attorney. I don't know where I'd be without him. I don't know where this county would be without him. He does a great job for this county, does a great job for this office and for this court, and I really appreciate both of the Jennifers, Jeff and Jess, county treasurer, Jennifer Fidelio, and the auditor, Jennifer Esri, and amazing jobs that y'all do, and assistance for me, just like preparing this budget for this year. Everybody on this square is essential, and that's just the truth of it. Our facilities maintenance guys, my staff in my office, Laura and Angela, oh my goodness, the job that they do. I want to thank them. Again, the facilities maintenance is part of my staff as well, and Jessica, the IT. Thank everybody there, but most of all, my wife. She's here somewhere. I don't know exactly where. Probably watching on television and being embarrassed right now by my actions. But she sacrificed a lot for this job. And I appreciate her very much. With that, that's all I've got, gentlemen. Again, I've given you a letter, and I would ask that you act on it.
Well, we will, Judge, in just a second, but I want to tell you, I appreciate everything you've done. You know, there's no doubt it's pretty tough for you to do this. So, you know, but you need to do what you need to do and take care of yourself. So, you know, we'll keep it, let's just like you and I talk, this thing will keep moving forward, and we're gonna keep moving forward with it. And, you know, you've done an outstanding job of controlling this court, because we've seen some pretty rough times in here. And, you know, I appreciate that, and, you know, I've been here a pretty good while, and I've seen, and you've done a super good job on this thing, even though we don't agree on everything, you know, and that's just, and Judge Benton won't agree either, but, you know, with me every time, but I appreciate everything you've done. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. It has been a pleasure, very much.
I'd like to thank you too, Judge. It's been an honor to be able to work with you, learn from you. I really appreciate you.
Well, again, this has been the honor of my life. I truly mean that. I've been in public service for over 46 years. You know, public safety side of it for just over 35. And this tops the cake. It's been special. I've enjoyed every minute of it, even the hard times. I mean, that's the purpose of having 5 people on the court, is because there's going to be disagreements, and we've worked through those and got it done. So again, it's extremely humbling, but thank you for your words. Thank you very much.
And I want to thank you for your patience with me.
That goes both ways.
So,
Yeah, me too.
Doesn't take a while.
our morning meetings will have to change, I guess. We'll have to do it at one stop. So, but I appreciate what you've done. I do.
Thank you.
Well, I came in here new to all this, and had to have your guys and everybody else's get through all
It
this.
takes all of us, for sure.
I appreciate everything you've done. You've helped the county, no doubt. There's been a lot of help to the county in the last 4 years I've been here, and I think your heart's been into it in the right place, for the right reason.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
That's it. Judge, I'll make the motion to accept the letter of resignation for you today, effective June the 24th.
Second.
Okay, have a motion from Commissioner Langford and a second from Commissioner Murphy to accept my letter today, the 22nd of June, effective 24th of June, 2020. Any more discussion, any questions? All in favor, right hand. All voted for. Thank you.
With that being done, and on the second one, I'll make the motion to appoint Judge Kevin Benton, effective on June the 24th, to move into the county judge's spot.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Langford, second Commissioner Mayfield, to appoint Kevin Benton as county judge effective, Montague County Judge effective the 24th of June, 2020. Any questions from the court? All in favor, right hand. All voted for.
Third deal here, Judge, I'd like to make the motion to appoint Jack Pigg to the JP2 position, effective on June the 24th.
Second.
Have a motion from Commissioner Langford and second Commissioner Darden to appoint Jack Pigg as Justice of the Peace for Precinct 2 to be effective June the 24th, 2020. All in favor, right hand. All voted for. And gentlemen, thank you. Again, this has been a hard month to get things going, and hopefully we're working toward making a smooth transition for this, so that the county business is not delayed any at all. So with that, I think we need to go from there. Go to the budget workshop. Item number 50 is budget workshop. And I have no one here today that has notified the court to make a presentation to the court. So I know I asked to move that proposed budget down just in the event that somebody came in and wanted to do something, that we need to make changes on that proposed budget. If you looked at it, or if you want to discuss the process for this budget as it stands for this proposal. Give an opportunity for anybody to ask questions or make comments about it, or any future actions. I know that Judge Benton is here now with that. Anything for his benefit?
I just had one question, just to make sure I'm on the right page. Jennifer, is this proposed budget, I've looked at it quite a bit. Is it without any increases in it?
No, there are some changes. If you look at the budget workshop cover sheet,
Yeah, I've got,
it was emailed, it was with the same email, but there's a cover sheet. Basically has all of the requests,
yes.
and if there is an asterisk by it, that is included in the proposed.
Okay, so it is included in the proposed, but I just want to make sure I'm on the same
Right.
page.
You'll
Yes,
notice that also has, there's some deletions on that as well, where people reduced their budget. Those are effective as
Yes,
well with that same asterisk.
I didn't notice
And the
that.
stuff from the DA is all coming out of the forfeiture fund, right?
that is not included in the budget.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
The only thing that was included was the transfer.
Okay.
So,
Just to make sure.
so that's not in either the DA forfeiture or the general. It's just a request. Yeah, there's nothing in the proposed budget. That's gonna, the court, the district basically has to act on that one, so I did not include that.
Yeah, that's,
yeah.
everybody else will have to pass that before we include it. Anything else on the budget workshop? Any questions? Then I would ask that we go back to item number 12 and approve the proposed budget for the fiscal year 2021. So we can get that on file, and that will allow the future work to be done. From this point forward, though, any additions or subtractions to that budget will have to have action taken on it. But that will allow you to pass the budget at the end of August if you choose to.
I'll make a motion that we accept the 2021 proposed budget.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Murphy and second from Commissioner Darden to accept the proposed budget as presented for the 2020-21 budget year. Any questions? All in favor, right hand. All voted for. Okay, thank you. That being the last item on the agenda.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion from Commissioner Langford, second Commissioner Darden, is that correct? Okay, all in favor, right hand. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Judge, quick question, do we even have a picture of the five of you before board for archives?
Hopefully not. No, I'm just teasing. I don't know. I truly don't.
I think we do.
Have we got one? If not,
Do you want one? Would you like to do one right
I
now?
think we need to take one.
Okay.
Sure. Besides the other four in their natural, you're all in your natural day-to-day state today, Chris.
That is true. That is true.
I think
I know that.
You really want to be 16 cars, you